What are you looking at on your phone, junior brother? Zhao Rua smiled and walked over. The other Chinese students also walked over. Oh, it's the bank's balance change notification, answered Luo Feng. When he said this, William's expression turned even uglier. Notice of balance change? TSK junior brother, you just entered the training camp and you've already earned 5 billion. This is very rare in the history of the training camp. Junior brother, you have to treat us and it has to be the best, Zhao Rua said. The other Chinese students beside her also joined in. Of course there's no problem. Luo Feng looked at Zhao Rua with a weird expression. Senior, you said you would cook for me if I win. This. Zhao Rua scratched her head. Junior sister Zhao Rua, I also heard it clearly just now. That is indeed what you said. Shi Jiang also said seriously. Zhao Rui frowned and looked at Shi Jiang. Senior apprentice brother, I didn't expect you to be so evil. Fine, I'll cook. In the hall on the 9th floor, a group of young men and women from the Huaxia faction were chatting merrily. However, the group of people from the European Union faction were not happy. They were chatting in English. One of them, a slightly petite brown-haired girl, could not help but complain. William, how could you lose to a newcomer? Your strength is not strong. But your swordsmanship is above average among those who entered the training camp in the same year as you. How could you lose? You were careless? No, William creased his eyebrows and shook his head. I tried my best. That LuoFeng's body is stronger than mine. Physical exertion? William. The tall and skinny blonde youth next to him said, it's fine if we lose this time, but we can't let that Chinese kid take the 5 billion yuan so easily. When we get back, we'll think of a way to make him spit it out. The blonde youth's voice was very low, and the others nodded. The training camp was like this. This time you won a large sum of money from me. I will definitely think of a way to win it back. Even if I can't win, I'll ask my fellow villagers for help. Unless you were a coward and refused to fight. Luo Feng was in a good mood. Even though he didn't win cleanly this time, he found his weakness. This was a good thing. More importantly, he had earned 5 billion this time. Originally, he wanted to buy a portion of the water of life, so he was still lacking some funds. Now he had sufficient funds. The last auction sold it for 30 billion, which was considered a sky-high price. If there's another water of life up for auction, it might not even reach 30 billion. I have more than enough funds now. Even if the auction price is too high, I can still borrow from the bank. Everyone had a borrowing limit, especially martial artists. The higher their status and the stronger their strength, the more money they could borrow from the bank. It was not difficult for a student of the world's best training camp to borrow tens of billions. Of course, the interest rate for such a loan was also very high. Let's go for lunch. Haha, let's go eat on the 2nd floor today, LuoFeng's treating, yelled Zhao Rua. No problem. Senior, feel free to eat as much as you want. Laughed Luo Feng. At this time, a group of young men and women from the European Union's faction walked over. The leading man was tall and skinny. His cold gaze stared at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, I really admire your strength. And it makes my heart itch. I wonder if I'll have the chance to have a stake battle with you. It's up to you how high the stakes are. I'll play with you however high you want to play. Silence. Many students in the surroundings quietened down. Interesting. Things were getting more and more interesting. The students from the Soviet Union, the United States, India, the Hongning Bay City, and some other Bay cities were all eager to see the world in chaos. They were looking forward to watching the battle between the European Union and the Huaxia nation. Up to me? Luo Feng was shocked as he carefully looked at the person in front of him. This person was almost 1.9 meters tall, but was very skinny. His eyes were cold and at the same time, he naturally gave off a noble feeling. Looking at this person, Luo Feng thought of the mythical race. Vampires. He dares to let me raise the stakes? This white youth's strength is definitely strong, extremely strong. How generous, no wonder he's the heir to the Paulinus family, so rich. Generous, my ass. Zhao Rua couldn't help but to curse. A gentle and low voice rose. Candace, in any case you were ranked 42nd in the previous March. And you've been in the training camp for 3 years now, yet you still have the nerve to fight Luo Feng? Among the Chinese youths, Shi Jiang took a step forward and frowned. How about you come and fight me? It's the same. You can raise the stakes. Candace's face changed. Who is Shi Jiang? Being able to consistently rank in the top 5 means that his strength is at the top of the entire training camp. Isn't fighting him like giving him money? Shi Jiang, you should bet with Renats, Candace said. So you know fear. Shi Jiang looked towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked at Candace. Shi Jiang and Zhao Rua were shocked. Could it be that this Luo Feng wants to fight against Candace? Candace isn't William. That William has only been in the training camp for a year. And Candace has been in the training camp for 3 years. And he's ranked 42, which means he's one of the most outstanding students in the training camp. Candace was happy when he saw this. Could it be that this Luo Feng is extremely arrogant? He really wants to fight me? Candace immediately said seriously, Luo Feng, Candace and Paulinus really want to spar with you, I wonder. Candace and Paulinus? Thought Luo Feng to himself. Sure enough, some of the Chinese students said, no wonder he's the #1 heir of the Paulinus family. LuoFeng's heart jumped. The Paulinus family. The vulture-scorpion couple that wants to kill him even in their dreams. The scorpion is called Vanina and Paulinus. She's the sister of the head of the Paulinus family. Who would have thought that I'd meet someone from the Paulinus family here, thought Luo Feng to himself. Sorry, I still have to eat lunch with my seniors, smiled Luo Feng as he walked towards the elevator with Shi Jiang and the others. Luo Feng wasn't dumb. He wouldn't fight someone without confidence. Times. Evening of the same day. The night wind blew. In the courtyard of Jiangnan Pagoda. Luo Feng, this is Teacher Jiang. In the 5 years you're in the training camp, you'll follow Teacher Jiang, introduced Shi Jiang. Luo Feng looked at the tall young woman in a purple dojo uniform in front of him with shock. The body of the woman in front of him was definitely full of breasts, and waist. Teacher Jiang? The teachers in the training camp were all wargods at the very least. And since they're chosen as teachers, all of these wargods have their own unique skills that can teach these geniuses. This Teacher Jiang in front of him. No matter how Luo Feng looked at her, she was very young, not much older than him. And she's actually his teacher for the next 5 years. My name is Jiang Fang. The purple-clothed woman's entire body felt like a blade. In the next 5 years I'll be your direct teacher, continued Jiang Fang. Right now there are a total of 5 students following me. You're the 6th. Luo Feng slightly bowed. Teacher Jiang? Okay, take your blade and come with me, said Jiang Fang. Yes, Luo Feng immediately took his ghost blade, put it on his back and followed Jiang Fang out. Who would have thought that he'd be a female teacher in the elite training camp? As they walked in the training camp, Jiang Fang smiled. I heard that you defeated William this afternoon, right? Yes, nodded Luo Feng. William's blade technique is quite good. He reached the 2nd stage. You were able to defeat him, not bad. Jiang Fang nodded in satisfaction and pulled out 2 scimitars from her waist. Come, Luo Feng. Show me your blade technique. I'll use strength and speed that doesn't surpass yours. In terms of body fitness level, this Jiang Fang is already a wargod. Because of her genes and body changes, Jiang Fang looks young. She looks around 20, but her actual age is around 30. Yes, Teacher Luo Feng pulled out his ghost blade. Attack, ordered Jiang Fang. Yes. Luo Feng charged forward like lightning and cleanly slashed towards Jiang Fang. Jiang Fang didn't move the scimitar in her right hand, only her left hand. Dang. The moment the scimitar in her left hand clashed with Luo Feng's ghost blade, Luo Feng felt a strange feeling of powerlessness. Before he could retract his blade, the light of the blade brushed past Luo Feng's neck and retracted. You lost, frowned Jiang Fang as she looked at Luo Feng. Again. Luo Feng's spiritual force was already surrounding Jiang Fang's scimitar. If Jiang Fang's scimitar tries to cut his throat, Luo Feng's spiritual force will directly control the scimitar. No way. The light of the blade was indeed scary. Yes, Luo Feng attacked again. Clang, clang. Jiang Fang's left scimitar only clashed with Luo Feng's blade twice, and Luo Feng was already wide open. How come your blade technique is so weak? Jiang Fang looked at Luo Feng with confusion. You really beat William? Luo Feng was ashamed. He was looked down upon by this goddess of war teacher. Indeed, this Jiang Laosher's strength and speed of his saber weren't faster than his, but he was able to easily disrupt his rhythm. Furthermore, his saber intent was relentless, wave after wave easily defeating him. In terms of level? This Teacher Jiang is who knows how much stronger than that William. And Jiang Fang only used one blade, her other scimitar didn't move at all. If he used his spiritual force, he could fight. But if he used his blade, he would lose so badly that he wouldn't even have his pants. Teacher, I used my speed and strength to suppress that William. I defeated him with my strength alone, said Luo Feng. Oh. Jiang Fang let out a look of joy. Looks like your fist strength is quite powerful. This requires a lot of control over your strength. This means that you're already very good at controlling your strength. Even though your blade technique is still quite crude, it can continue to improve in the future. What's your fist strength? 2.8 times, answered Luo Feng. Hee, you just entered the training camp and your fist strength is already this high. No wonder you were recruited alone. Jiang Fang nodded in satisfaction. Luo Feng, don't think too much about your crude blade technique, this is normal. For someone as young as you, if your blade technique is ridiculously high, then it would be too scary. I've been training since I was young and only reached my current level after 20 years of hard work. Come with me. Jiang Fang sheathed her blades and walked in front. Luo Feng followed this wargod teacher. In the staircase of the 9 grand floors, Jiang Fang introduced to Luo Feng. The most important parts of the 9 grand floors are obviously the challenge room, training room, and gravity room. These 3 rooms were constructed based on the treasures excavated from the ruins of the ancient civilization. There are also many training rooms on the 7th and 8th floors such as the gravity chamber that our Earth scientists have imitated. Although the effect is not as good as the gravity chamber of the ancient civilization, it is still much better than having no gravity chamber. Beep. The elevator door opened. He walked along the hall on the 9th floor towards the training room. From the 1st to the 30th of every month, students go to the training room and the gravity room to train. In these 30 days, every day from 12 noon to 1 p.m., this hour was the rest period. Usually if there's a new preparatory student, the assessment will take place during this hour. Jiang Fang explained. And this month is March, so there's the 31st. On the 31st, the gravity room and training room are both empty, said Jiang Fang as she brought Luo Feng to the door of a room. Of the 3 rooms on the 9th floor, Luo Feng had already entered the other 2 rooms, the training room and the challenge room. A light flashed past Luo Feng and Jiang Fang. The door opened and Luo Feng and Jiang Fang entered the room together. This is the gravity room, the one found in the ruins of the ancient civilization. Jiang Fang said. Luo Feng carefully looked around the room. The walls and floor of the gravity room were all made from a mixture of yellow and black alloy. The entire gravity room, because of this special alloy, gave off a special feeling. We, the scientists on Earth, haven't figured out this alloy yet. Jiang Fang pointed at the alloy wall and said, even existences surpassing the wargod level can't leave a mark on this wall. Luo Feng froze as he looked at the wall beside him. There was actually a fist imprint that was around 5 millimeters deep. Jiang Fang's eyes lit up with a hint of admiration. This fist mark was left behind by the strongest fighter on Earth, Hong. Among the fighters surpassing the wargod level, only the head can leave a fist mark on this wall. No one else could do it. The Hall Master is the strongest person on Earth. Beep. After saying that, Jiang Fang pressed the switch beside her. Your physical fitness is at the beginner warlord level. 9 times the gravity should be close to your limit. As she spoke, Jiang Fang quickly pressed an increase button, and the number on the display screen kept changing. 2, 3, 4, 5. Buzz. A formless energy immediately enveloped every part of his body. Before he could even take a breath, the gravity quickly rose from 8 to 9. Luo Feng only felt his vision go black and he immediately knelt on the ground. His heartbeat was as loud as a drum, the sound of his blood flowing was like a flowing river. Everything was so clear. How do you feel? Jiang Fang looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood up with difficulty. His face was pale and his body was on the verge of collapsing. I just feel like my entire body is very heavy. My heartbeat is very uncomfortable. Even breathing is very difficult. Every part of my body feels uncomfortable. Even though Luo Feng was carrying a ghost blade on his back, under 9x gravity, his weight was around 1,000 kilograms. But even though he was carrying such a heavy load, he didn't feel the pain of his blood vessels and internal organs suffering from 9 times the gravity. Luo Feng, do you know how important a gravity room is to a fighter? Under 9x gravity, Jiang Fang was still talking and laughing. Luo Feng looked at Jiang Fang. Martial artists absorb the energy of the universe and turn it into genetic energy, then let the body absorb the genetic energy to improve the genes and strengthen the body. Jiang Fang sighed. But every cell in the body will be saturated after absorbing to a certain extent. I won't be able to absorb any more. The more a person exercises, the more they eat. That's the same logic. Only every cell in the body participates in the exercise. Then the amount of genetic energy absorbed by the cells will be much higher, Jiang Fang sighed. And when we train normally, even though it looks like we're tired, it's hard to move every single part of the body. Luo Feng nodded. He understood this logic. This is also why the higher the level of the 9-stage Thunder Blade, the faster the body fitness level increases. But the gravity room is different. The gravitational force of the gravity chamber acts on every part of your body. Your muscles, bones, blood vessels, organs, cells, and even atoms. Jiang Fang explained. Gravity is everywhere, so it will naturally act on the most minute details. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Yes, gravity does affect every single part of the body. So, in the gravity room, especially under your own extreme gravity. Jiang Fang smiled. Even if you stand here without moving, every single cell in your body will be affected by gravity. You're fighting against gravity and expending energy. No matter how much you cultivate, the effect will be much better. Yeah, Luo Feng couldn't help but to nod in praise. Jiang Fang smiled. Of course, if you train with it, the effects will be even better. You can say this. If you train under extreme gravity for 2 hours a day, then your training speed will be 10 times faster than normal. 10 times. Luo Feng's eyes widened. If he used to need 3 years to become an advanced level wargod level spirit reader, with the gravity room, then wouldn't he only need 3 to 4 months now? However, there's only one gravity room. Jiang Fang continued, even the Thunder Dojo's elite training camp doesn't have one. One room for 183 students. How much will you get? Luo Feng was speechless. So the higher your rank, the more time you can use it. Jiang Fang continued, the gravity room that our scientists on Earth created has a range of 1x, 3x. In other words, you can only use 3x. When you train in the gravity room, the closer you are to your own limit, the better the results will be. The gravity room that was excavated from the archaeological ruins has a range of 1x, 1000x. Jiang Fang exclaimed, it's much stronger than the one we created. 1000x? Luo Feng stared, who can handle 1000x gravity? Of course, this so-called 1x, 1000x is something we set up on the display after we modified it. Jiang Fang pointed at the display. Do you think the archaeological ruins use Arabic numbers? The numbers and switches on this display were all modified by us. Of course, we can't change the main parts. There's only one archaeological gravity room. How long can a newbie like Luo Feng use it for? Even though the gravity room on Earth has a limit of 3x, there are a lot of them. In the entire training camp, there are a total of 10 gravity rooms. Luo Feng, you're new. You're ranked 183, which is an odd number. So for the first 28 days of April, on the odd days, you'll follow the other students and go to the wilderness to hunt monsters. Earn battle points. And on the odd days, you'll stay in the training camp and properly train. When that time comes, I'll teach you, Jiang Fang instructed. Yes, teacher, Luo Feng nodded. In the training camp, you have to take advantage of this opportunity to strengthen yourself. Times. Night 11 p.m. Luo Feng, who was wearing a bathrobe, sat in his study room and looked at his laptop. Rank number 1 April, can use the archaeological gravity room for 90 hours and the training room for 90 hours. Rank number 2, April, can use the archaeological gravity room for 60 hours and the training room for 60 hours. Rank number 11, 30, can use the archaeological gravity room for 6 hours and the training room for 6 hours. Rank number 31, 50, can use the archaeological gravity room for 4 hours and the training room for 4 hours. Rank number 51, 100, can use the archaeological gravity room for 2 hours and the training room for 2 hours. Rank number 101, last, can use the archaeological gravity room for 1 hour and the training room for 1 hour. Luo Feng looked at the last number and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He's new, rank number 183, so he can only use the archaeological gravity room for 1 hour in the entire April? The training room for 1 hour? It's only been an hour. Rank number 1 feels so good, a whole 90 hours. On the odd days he goes out to hunt monsters. On the even days he stays in the training camp and trains hard for 15 days a month. Every day he can stay in the archaeological gravity room for 6 hours and the training room for 6 hours. It's hard to raise your strength slowly. Luo Feng was jealous. In the archaeological gravity room, as long as you stay in there for 2 hours a day, 1 day is equivalent to 10 days. Don't even mention the fact that he stays there for 6 hours a day. Thankfully, April is my first month in the training camp, so I have a special privilege. I can take the Tower of Trials exam, thought Luo Feng to himself. The Tower of Trials exam is a privilege that every new student has during their first month in the training camp has. The time spent on the Tower of Trials exam isn't included in the allotted time. For example, Luo Feng only spent 1 hour in the training room in April. Maybe Luo Feng spent 40 minutes on the Tower of Trials exam, which adds up to 1 hour and 40 minutes. Some people spend a lot of time on the Tower of Trials exam, while others spend a lot of time. My blade technique is still pretty basic right now. I'll train hard this month and take the Tower of Trials exam on the 26th, thought Luo Feng to himself. Since he's the only new student in April, Luo Feng can choose any day to take the Tower of Trials exam between 12 p.m. and 13 p.m. In the blink of an eye, it was already April 1st, Luo Feng's official day in the training camp. On April 1st, Luo Feng followed 91 other students and headed towards a city in the wilderness that was around 300 kilometers away from the training camp. Number 1001 city. This number was personally chosen by the founder of Hong Ning headquarters city, Hong. All students must hunt monsters in this city. Also, there's a special satellite to monitor this number 1001 city. There are iron rules in the training camp. 1. If you secretly trade monsters, give monster materials to other students, or help other students gain battle points, once discovered, you will be expelled. 2. If you kill each other and kill other students, once discovered, you will be executed. Puchi. The ghost blade slashed across and the head of a pack mountain deer that was the size of a small mountain flew into the air. The monsters in this western region are completely different from the ones in China. Luo Feng was like a fish in water in the wilderness city. Luo Feng was like a fish in water in the city of the wilderness. Back then he trained his blade in a horde of beasts. Other students were worried about being surrounded and attacked by a horde of beasts, but Luo Feng had no such worries. So, Luo Feng's efficiency in hunting monsters was very high, and he earned a lot of battle points. Blade and sword techniques are divided into beginner, expert, perfection, realm. You need to build a good foundation for these 4 levels. Practice your saber every day for 2 hours in the fake gravity room. Practice your blade in the training room for 2 hours every day. Practice your blade when you get back. How can you do it if your foundation isn't solid? When you train, use your brain and think. How can we make it so smooth and uninterrupted? Jiang Fang ordered. Yes, teacher. In the gravity room, in the blade training room, in the underground room of Jiangnan Pagoda. Every day Luo Feng was obsessed with training his blade. He even used his spiritual force to sense the trajectory of his blade. With his spiritual force, Luo Feng was constantly improving and training. This kid's improvement is quite scary. However, it's not strange for him to be a bit crazy in this training camp. Even though Jiang Fang was shocked, she still had higher expectations for Luo Feng. All sorts of training methods were added onto Luo Feng's body. Of course, he can't stop his genetic energy training. Only when his entire body feels relaxed would Luo Feng occasionally chat with his family and Su Xan on his laptop. Luo Feng, you seem pretty tired? Not tired, I don't feel tired at all when I see you. Luo Feng looked at his laptop and laughed as he watched Su Xan in the video chat. Who would have thought that Luo Feng would be so witty? Luo Feng was completely immersed in his days in the training camp. There are many geniuses here, geniuses who are much stronger than him. In terms of spirit readers, there are dozens of them in the elite training camp, and there are quite a few who are stronger than him in terms of spiritual force. In terms of blade technique and force exertion, there are some who are stronger than Luo Feng. In terms of body exertion, there are even some who are stronger than Luo Feng. In terms of technique, there are quite a few in the training camp who have reached the realm of comprehension. In terms of blade technique, Luo Feng is at the bottom of the training camp. However, Luo Feng's technique and force exertion are already his advantages. Even though his blade technique isn't the best in the training camp, it's still above average. I'm sure he'll reach the second stage of his blade technique soon. Jiang Fang was quite satisfied with this disciple. After 2 or 3 years, Luo Feng can definitely make it into the top 10 in the training camp. Luo Feng was like a sponge that desperately absorbed nutrients in the training camp. Whether it was his body fitness level, blade technique or all other aspects, he was improving. This improvement speed is way faster than when he was training by himself. And there are many wargod teachers in this training camp. There are even investigators giving lectures. April 26th morning. Jiangnan Pagoda Luo Feng study. Looks like it'll be really hard to get to the top of the Black Dragon ranking, Su Xan sighed in the video chat. It's really hard, Luo Feng nodded. In this month, other than sleeping and occasionally video chatting with his family and Su Xan, he spent all of his time training. His improvement in this month has been shocking. There are a lot of geniuses in this training camp. William, who I defeated back then, was ranked around 150th on the Black Dragon leaderboard. Most of the first-year students are ranked below 150th. It's almost impossible to make it into the top 120. Not to mention the top 100, said Luo Feng. Su Xan laughed. Then Luo Feng, you're already doing quite well. Not bad, but I wasn't able to make it into the top 120. Luo Feng shook his head. Said Luo Feng as he shook his head. In these 26 days, his hunting efficiency rivaled that of the 3 or 4-year-old students, and his battle ability amplifier was 4.48, 2.8 times 1.6. His points haven't even made it into the top 120 on the Black Dragon ranking. However, it's still higher than that, William. Luo Feng, don't give yourself too much pressure. You're already very strong. Didn't you say that you're ranked second among the students who just entered the training camp this year? Su Xan comforted, and according to what you said, your battle ability amplifier is far more than 4.48. After your Tower of Trials exam, your battle ability amplifier will increase. Who knows, you might even be able to charge into the top 100. From what I heard, those who can charge into the top 100 in the elite training camp are all amazing people, sighed Su Xan. Su Xan's background allowed her to know quite a bit about the elite training camp. Today's the Tower of Trials exam. Do your best in the video. Su Xan raised her little fist. Hehe, Luo Feng grinned. Do your best, watch me. The higher you go in the Tower of Trials, the higher your level. And when he passed the B grade exam, his Tower of Trials level automatically increased to 1.6. And ever since his speed exploded and his blade technique improved, his Tower of Trials level will definitely increase by leaps and bounds. 11:50 p.m. Luo Feng chatted with his parents for a bit. After that, Luo Feng leisurely walked out of Jiangnan Pagoda by himself in his casual clothes. Coincidentally, Zhao Rua walked back and smiled. Luo Feng, want to eat lunch? I already ate, laughed Luo Feng. I just went to check the Black Dragon ranking, and you're actually ranked 126. Junior, you're really amazing. I only made it into the top 100-inch, joked Zhao Rua. Luo Feng grinned. Senior, you have to be careful. My goal is to charge into the top 100 in a short period of time. Short period? How short? 2 months? 3 months? Zhao Rua raised her eyebrows. I'll talk to you later, I have to go. Luo Feng didn't say much. Other than Su Xan, no one else in the training camp knows about his decision to take the Tower of Trials level exam on April 26th. After saying that, Luo Feng headed towards the 9 grand floors. On the way, quite a few students greeted Luo Feng. Students respect the strong. And Luo Feng was able to charge to 126 in his first month in the training camp. Even though the ranking will only end at midnight on the 28th, Luo Feng's strength can be seen from this. He's only 19 years old and he's already this strong. Then what about the future? So many of these students from South America, North America, Europe, Africa, etc. have pretty good relationships with Luo Feng. On the 9th floor of the 9 grand floors, 6 black students just finished their training in the Tower of Trials in the gravity room. They were sparring here. Luo Feng, why are you here? Yelled one of the black students who knew Mandarin. The other 5 black students didn't know Mandarin, so very few of the students from Africa knew Mandarin. Even though Mandarin is quite common in the world right now. I have something to do, smiled Luo Feng and headed towards the training room. The training room scanned Luo Feng and confirmed his identity. The door to the training room opened automatically. Luo Feng lightly pushed it open and entered. Training room? How can he enter the training room after midnight? He can't enter the training room. The 6 black students spoke fluently in their native African language. That Luo Feng is a new student. This April is his first month here. New students have the privilege to take the Tower of Trials level exam in their first month. Could it be that he hasn't taken the Tower of Trials level exam yet? It's already the 26th. He definitely hasn't taken the exam yet. Otherwise, students wouldn't even be able to enter the training room from 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. Holy, he hasn't taken the Tower of Trials level exam and his Black Dragon ranking is already over 120. After the exam, how high is he going to get? Could it be the top 100? A newbie can get into the top 100 in his first month? Hurry, let's go to the Black Dragon ranking. The ranking will definitely change soon. Hurry, let's go. Let's go to the Black Dragon sculpture. The 6 black students said a bunch of stuff and were all extremely shocked. They swiftly went down the stairs and headed towards the Black Dragon sculpture at the entrance of the training camp. Keep in mind that in the training camp, it's almost impossible for a newbie to get into the top 100 in his first month. Every single person who can create such a miracle has amazing achievements. Could it be another person who gets into the top 100 as soon as he enters the training camp? P.S. Sweat, the 3rd chapter has around 5,000 words, so it's not far from 6,000 words. All in all, Tomato's word count for today is nearing 12,000. Oh. Call for monthly votes. Call for more monthly votes, counted as encouragement for tomato hee. In the training room, Luo Feng turned on the lights. Luo Feng laid on the sofa and picked up the dark blue helmet. This consciousness sensor, helmet, reflected a dazzling dark blue light under the light. The further the better, said Luo Feng lightly. He kissed the helmet and then put it on. On the silver and boundless land, the sky was the boundless universe. The only structure was a 7-story tower that pierced through the sky. The Tower of Trials. Luo Feng familiarly arrived at the entrance of the Tower of Trials. On the left pillar of the Tower of Trials, a message about himself appeared. Name, Luo Feng. Gender, male. Identity, elite training camp official student. Tower of Trials level, 1.6. Luo Feng smiled. Under the virtual space's reminder, he swiftly changed into his battle uniform, weapon, and shield. After that, he directly entered the Tower of Trials. On the vast prairie, Luo Feng appeared out of nowhere. Luo Feng. The electronic voice echoed around the entire prairie. You've completed the first B stage of the trial. The next step is the C stage. Your goal is to kill 200 raging bulls within 50 minutes. Among these 200 raging bull monsters, there are 190 low-level commander-level monsters and 10 middle-level commanders. Good luck. Luo Feng grinned and his gaze was like a blade. After being in the training camp for close to a month, Luo Feng was very clear about what he would face in every stage of the Tower of Trials. The B stage was 100 low-level commander raging bulls. This time it's 200 and there are even 10 middle-level commander-level monsters. And his body is only at the low-level warlord level. He has to kill all of them within 50 minutes for it to be considered a success. 200 barbaric bulls instantly appeared on the grassland, and there were even a few enormous barbaric bulls with fiery red horns. The earth shook. Under the lead of the 10 middle-level commander-level raging bulls, the raging bulls charged towards Luo Feng like a roaring wave. With LuoFeng's fitness level, he'll probably lose his ability to fight and get trampled into meat paste by the raging bulls. So he can't make a single mistake. Come. Luo Feng held his hexagonal shield in one hand and his ghost blade in the other as he grinned and charged towards the raging bulls. While Luo Feng was taking the Tower of Trials exam, the 6 African students spread the news to quite a few other students. This Chinese student, Luo Feng, who just entered the training camp and charged to rank 126, didn't even take the Tower of Trials exam. The assessment had only begun today. Even without taking the test, he was already ranked 126. Was he going to charge into the top 100 after the assessment? Immediately, many of the students who were eating also quickly finished their meals and rushed to the giant black dragon sculpture at the training camp's main entrance, paying close attention to the changes on the ranking board. In fact, the rankings were constantly changing, and it would only stop changing at midnight on the 28th. At this time, in the top floor of a dilapidated 3-story villa in City 1001 of the wilderness, Candace Paulinus, who was wearing a black combat suit, was sitting on the ground alone. He held a water bag in one hand and replenished himself with water. Although he was the first successor of the Paulinus family, one of the 9 core families of the HR Alliance, Candace didn't relax his expectations. One's own strength is the most fundamental. Everything else is fake. Candace slightly gulped down his saliva. Today is already the 26th. There are only 2 days left until the end of this month's ranking. Looks like I won't have any problems getting into the top 50 this time. Right now, Candace's ranking is rank 39. Let's see if he can charge into the top 30-inch. Candace's nose was straight and his gaze was cold. Who would have thought that Chinese kid would improve so quickly? He's already in the top 120-inch. Ever since his good friend William and LuoFeng's first bet, Candace's small group of people have been causing trouble for Luo Feng. For example, stealing LuoFeng's prey in the wilderness. Or ruining LuoFeng's hunt. The training camp only forbids killing each other, and private deals, but these troublesome actions aren't punished. Candace looked at the tactical communications watch on his wrist. It's William? Call me back. Candace ordered and the call quickly connected. William, you're calling me even though I'm in the wilderness. Could it be that you miss me? Mocked Candace. Candace, let me tell you something. That Huaxia kid just took the Tower of Trials test today. William's voice came from the tactical communications watch. What does his Tower of Trials test have to do with us? Just as Candace finished speaking, his expression changed. What did you say? He just took the Trial Tower's ranking test today. Could it be that he hadn't taken the test in the past 26 days? How was it possible that he could rush to the 120th place without taking the test? Impossible. Candace was very unhappy with Luo Feng, so he naturally didn't want to believe that Luo Feng was that strong. I don't want to believe it either, but my brother, I have to tell you this is the truth. This Luo Feng is currently taking his exam in the training room. And now, over at the training camp, dozens of trainees were looking at the Black Dragon leaderboard, waiting for it to refresh. Even the teachers of the training camp have come over. William spoke extremely fast and fluent English. If this Luo Feng can really charge into the top 100 in his first month, then that would be incredible. I don't believe it. Candace's eyes were like a venomous snake. I definitely don't believe he can charge into the top 100. I don't want to believe it either, but if you were in the training camp right now, you'd know, said William helplessly. Keep an eye on the Black Dragon sculpture and don't hang up. Notify me when it refreshes, commanded Candace. All right. Virtual space, first floor of the Tower of Trials on a vast prairie. Raging bull corpses laid around and fresh blood dyed the prairie red. LuoFeng's body was covered in blood as he stepped on a raging bull's corpse. His face was pale and there were traces of blood at the corner of his mouth. Used 41 minutes and 26 seconds to kill 190 low-level commander-level raging bulls and 10 medium-level commander-level raging bulls. Passed the C-grade stage. Passed the first floor of the Tower of Trials. Congratulations, student Luo Feng. An electronic sound rang, and the entire prairie flashed and completely disappeared. The endless sky and land around it turned into a desert. A boundless desert. This is the second floor of the Tower of Trials. According to what Luo Feng knows, every floor of the Tower of Trials has 3 stages, A, B, and B. For example, in the second floor of the Tower of Trials, completing the A stage is 2.3, completing the B stage is 2.6, and completing the C stage is 3.0. And right now, Luo Feng has just completed the first floor C stage, which is 2.0. Who would have thought that the 100 raging bulls in the B stage would turn into the 200 raging bulls in the C stage would become so terrifying? Luo Feng recalled the slaughter from before and was still scared. With 10 medium-level commander-level raging bulls, just the medium-level commander-level monsters aren't much of a threat. The most troublesome part is they split up and lead the other raging bulls to attack in an organized manner. Unlike the aimless attacks on Luo Feng in the B stage, the C stage is organized. If Luo Feng's blade technique wasn't much stronger than before, Luo Feng would have already failed in the charge of the raging bulls. Luo Feng, congratulations on completing the first floor of the Tower of Trials. Next up is the A stage of the Tower of Trials second floor. Your goal is to kill 50 low-level commander-level steel-armored scorpions within 10 minutes. Good luck. The virtual space's electronic voice resounded throughout the entire desert. Steel-armored scorpions, a type of monster that can often be seen in the desert. They are the most numerous type of scorpion monster. According to what the other students said, steel-armored scorpions are quite small, so they can command around 10 or even 20 of them to attack a human at the same time. And their dodging is unpredictable, making them extremely hard to deal with. The A stage of the second floor is several times harder than before. Luo Feng was under a lot of pressure. Sha. Suddenly, dark red armored scorpions crawled out of the endless desert. Clearly, these scorpions could easily drill into the desert. Each scorpion's armor was dark red, and its long, pointed tail was jet black. No one doubted the power of a scorpion's tail. The A stage of the Tower of Trials second floor begin. In the wilderness number 1001 city, Candace was leaning against the wall and occasionally chatting with William. It changed, Luo Feng's ranking changed. William's shocked voice carried from his tactical communications watch. How much did it change? Candace was shocked. From 126 to 108. After hearing this, Candace took in a deep breath. He actually became number 108 in the training camp. A rookie who just entered the training camp and managed to charge to 108 in the first month is indeed quite scary. At this moment, Candace felt a bit of regret. With Luo Feng's current achievements, he's destined to be terrifying in the future. However, since they're on opposing sides. At most, I'll just not mess with him or get close to him, sneered Candace. What's more, he's only number 108. He hasn't even entered the top 100. Candace didn't know that the reason Luo Feng's ranking jumped from 126 to 108 was because Luo Feng passed the C stage of the trial and his Tower of Trials level went from 1.6 to 2.0. This means that Luo Feng's points increased by a full quarter. That's why he improved so much. It changed again. Candace, the ranking changed again, William's voice carried from his tactical communications watch. How much? It's already number 99. It charged into the top 100. Candace's face changed. Inside the training camp, in front of the black dragon sculpture at the entrance. When the dozens of students and wargod teachers saw that the ranking changed again and Luo Feng appeared at number 99, they were all extremely excited and shocked. A rookie charging into the top 100 in his first month has only happened 5 times in the history of our training camp. Those 5 people were all absolute geniuses. The earliest one was 20 years ago. Out of these 5 people, 4 of them are already advanced level wargods. Another one even broke through the wargod level and became in existence surpassing the wargod level, yelled a Russian white brute with a big beard happily. Impressive. This rookie is called Luo Feng. His technique, speed, and blade technique should all be very good. Quick, go and inform the patrol envoy. Tell him this news. Jiang Fang was one of the most famous people in the circle of wargods around the world. She was born in a poor family during the most turbulent years of the Grand Nirvana period. Her life was filled with misfortune. Her husband died saving her during a hunt in the wilderness. From then on, Jiang Fang no longer cared about the struggles between the various factions, nor did she care about the matters of the heart. She wholeheartedly devoted herself to the path of martial arts, and unexpectedly obtained great achievements. People call her the Moon Witch Jiang Fang. Her curved blades were godly. Fighters who don't like to fight or fight with the outside world are usually willing to become teachers in the dojo of limits. This Jiang Fang has been in the elite training camp for close to 10 years. Other than studying her blade technique, her only hobby is. She watched as her disciple made such an achievement. Watching her disciple surpass the disciples of other teachers. Jiang, congratulations, a bald, lean black man said. Luo Feng's talent is high, smiled Jiang Fang. The white-bearded brute on the side spoke in awkward Chinese. It's all because of Miss Jiang Fang's teachings. You Chinese have a saying, what's it like? It's called, a great teacher produces a great disciple. There were very few female teachers in the elite training camp. And Jiang Fang has quite a few wargod disciples, so naturally she has a lot of connections. She's strong, tall, and pretty. There are quite a few wargod fighters who want to chase after Jiang Fang. Luo Feng's out. Following a voice, Jiang Fang couldn't help but to turn her head. She saw Luo Feng, who was wearing simple casual clothes, walking out of the 9 grand floors. Just as Luo Feng walked out of the 9 grand floors, he saw Teacher Jiang Fang walking towards him. Teacher Jiang Fang, known as the flower of the elite training camp, has quite a few male students chasing after this teacher. Since wargods have much longer lifespans than normal people, students don't care about a difference of more than 10 years. However, Luo Feng was very respectful towards Jiang Fang. In this month, Jiang Fang has indeed helped him a lot. Teacher, said Luo Feng respectfully. Not bad, you're currently number 99 on the Black Dragon ranking, smiled Jiang Fang as she complimented. How did the Tower of Trials exam go? I failed the A stage of the 2nd floor. Luo Feng was quite helpless. He already knew that the iron-armored scorpions were hard to deal with, but when he actually fought them he realized how powerful they were. Each iron-armored scorpion had many blade-like claws as well as a ghost-like spine. Although he had made great progress compared to when he first arrived, out of those 50 iron-armored scorpions, he had tried his best to kill 36 of them. In the end, he was dragged to the bottom of the desert by the iron-armored scorpions and killed. In the desert, the armored scorpions were truly terrifying. In the end, his Tower of Trials level was 2.2. The armored scorpions are indeed difficult to deal with. Jiang Fang encouraged. Good luck. Your current rank is 99. There are still 2 more days until midnight on the 28th. Work hard during these 2 days and strive to maintain your rank within the top 100. To be able to rush into the top 100 in the first month of the training camp, even as your teacher, it's a great honor. Luo Feng laughed. He had to work harder. At around 8 o'clock in the evening, the training camp's special vehicles drove up to the main entrance of the training camp, and the trainees who were hunting monsters in the wilderness came in one by one. I heard Luo Feng made it to number 99 this afternoon? I heard that too. Luo Feng brought honor to our country of China, ha. The first thing these trainees did when they entered the training camp was to raise their heads and look at the ranking on the Black Dragon sculpture. Because these trainees all handed in their monster materials and received battle points. So most of the people who came back from hunting monsters rose 1 or 2 ranks. Only a few didn't rise or even fell. Number 101? Luo Feng fell to number 101. Candace heard this right after he entered the training camp. He couldn't help but to let out a smile and raise his head. Indeed. Luo Feng, who was number 99 in the afternoon, is now number 101. The closer it gets to midnight on the 28th, the more intense everyone's fighting. Luo Feng, you want to rush into the top 100? Candace had a cold smile on his face. He carried his backpack and headed towards his living quarters. Early in the morning of the 27th, Luo Feng left the training camp with 91 other trainees. When he left the training camp, Luo Feng discovered that his rank was now number 102. Clearly, the 91 trainees who returned from hunting monsters last night caused quite a bit of change in the ranking. For the entire day of the 27th, Luo Feng worked hard to hunt monsters. He only returned to the training camp when it was almost 10 p.m. Luo Feng, you got quite a bit today. In the training camp's car, the Dojo of Limits workers bought the materials and transferred the money into Luo Feng's card. This also increased Luo Feng's contribution points. And also gave him battle points. Your rank should be able to rise a few ranks. Thanks for your kind words, Luo Feng grinned. The training camp's entrance. After Luo Feng got off the car, he walked towards the gigantic Black Dragon sculpture. His attention was completely focused on the names on the Black Dragon scales. Very easily he found his name. Number 98 Luo Feng, 570403. Rush to number 98? Luo Feng slightly frowned, laughed, and then headed towards his living quarters, Jiangnan Pagoda. A group of white youths spoke fluent American English. That Luo Feng actually laughed? Even though he's number 98 right now, tomorrow is the 28th. He doesn't have the right to go out and hunt monsters. When the 91 trainees return tomorrow, this Luo Feng's rank will probably be pushed out of the top 100. Jason, you dare to laugh at someone else? I remember that you were only number 179 in your first month, right? April 28, 10 p.m. Beside the gigantic Black Dragon sculpture in the elite training camp, quite a few trainees were already sitting on the ground and laughing. They've been working hard for nearly a month. Since they've done everything they could. All that's left is to wait for the final result. Outside of the training camp, in a residential building around 3 kilometers away. Hurry, set up the equipment. All of you hurry up. The boss gave you so much money to work here. Working here is like taking a vacation. The few tasks that the boss gave us, we have to do them to the best of our abilities. Understood? A sturdy man with dyed yellow hair roared. The other 5 members swiftly moved the equipment. Understood. Captain, it's done. A ranking appeared on the gigantic screen on the wall. It was the ranking of the Black Dragon sculpture. Very good. The sturdy man with yellow hair nodded. When the ranking is set at midnight, we'll send the news to the boss as soon as possible. Oh yeah, the boss ordered us to pay special attention to Luo Feng from our country of China. The other 5 people laughed as they replied. It wasn't just this squad. In Hongning headquarters city, especially around the elite training camp, quite a few intelligence agents were paying attention to the Black Dragon ranking. Tonight at midnight, not only were the trainees of the elite training camp paying attention to this ranking, but many organizations from all over the world were also paying attention to this ranking. These organizations would have a series of intelligence reports on every student on the list. April 28, 10:18 p.m. 9 Grand Floors Training Room. The door to the training room opened. Luo Feng, who was wearing a dark green dojo uniform, was lying on the sofa. He once again put on his helmet and entered the virtual space. On the other sofa, a black girl was lying. In just 1 or 2 minutes, the black girl took off her helmet and opened her eyes. She cursed a few times before leaving the training room. Only one person can enter the Tower of Trials at a time. Therefore, every student had to enter and exit at the same time. Second floor of the Tower of Trials. In the boundless desert, 50 steel-armored scorpions came out of the sand and surrounded Luo Feng. Today, I have an hour to play with you scorpions. Luo Feng was filled with fighting spirit. Kill. The battle instantly began. As long as you die once in the Tower of Trials exam, the exam will end. So after Luo Feng failed yesterday, his exam privileges ended. However, other than the Tower of Trials exam, Luo Feng, who was ranked 183 in March, has 1 hour of training in the training room and 1 hour of training in the archaeological gravity room. And Luo Feng's 1 hour in the training room is exactly the 28th, 10:20 p.m. to 11:20 p.m. In this hour, Luo Feng can try again if he fails. No matter how many times he fails, he can try again. However, once the time is up, no matter if he succeeds or fails, he will be kicked out of the virtual space. The 50 steel-armored scorpions either drilled into the sand, pounced, or charged. Basically, they surrounded Luo Feng from all directions. For a moment, Luo Feng became a ghostly silhouette. His blade was like a dreamy mist as it destroyed the formation of the steel-armored scorpions and killed them one by one. Puchi. A curved blade of light flashed and 3 steel-armored scorpions fell from midair. Luo Feng, who had a wound on his face, couldn't help but to laugh. Fuck, after dying 3 times, I finally passed the A stage of the second floor. As long as the time isn't up, he can try again no matter how many times he dies. Used 5 minutes and 6 seconds to kill 50 low-level commander-level steel-armored scorpions. You have passed the A stage of the second floor. Congratulations, student Luo Feng. The electronic voice echoed in the scorching desert. The light flashed and all the corpses of the steel-armored scorpions disappeared. Luo Feng's body and stamina also recovered. Luo Feng was clear. Actually, the A stage of the second floor is pretty much his limit. He only passed it after dying 3 times. As for the B stage, unless something special happens, he won't be able to pass it in a short amount of time. I'll just treat it as practicing my technique and blade. Maybe my technique will reach the perfect level. Luo Feng held his ghost blade and continued to receive the training. Around 10 o'clock in the night, a training camp car stopped outside the main entrance. 2 fully armed cadets walked in, one of whom was Candace and Paulinus. The 28th was the day he went out to hunt. Candace. The blonde youth, William, greeted him and smiled. Congratulations, you're already in rank 38. Then what's Luo Feng's rank? Candace and William walked side by side towards the Black Dragon statue. Look, he's ranked 101, 102. He's already 102. William pointed at the gigantic Black Dragon statue. Candace raised his head and looked at the Black Dragon ranking. He nodded and laughed. To be honest, that yellow-skinned kid is quite strong. However, he's dreaming if he wants to charge into the top 100 in his first month. A rookie charged into the top 100 in his first month. It's about time for us EU countries to do the same. Today's the 28th. Luo Feng went out to hunt on an odd day, so there's no hope for him, laughed William. Candace also let out a carefree laugh. Suddenly, it changed. Then Luo Feng's rank increased. Weird, today's the 28th and Luo Feng isn't going out to hunt. So how did his rank increase? Quite a few spectating students were shocked. Candace and William, the 2 blonde youths, raised their heads and were also stunned. Luo Feng's rank actually charged from 102 to 98. Today's the 28th, how did Luo Feng increase his rank? Could it be that someone wagered his points with him? Candace's expression was like he just saw a ghost. Impossible. Impossible, how did he increase his rank today? William couldn't believe it either. There's no point in not believing it since that's the truth. Actually, because Luo Feng completed the A stage of the second floor, the Tower of Trials level went from 2.2 to 2.3, so his rank increased a bit. Time passed minute by minute. The students were all discussing the rank, and Luo Feng's rank was precisely. Holy God. All the students stared with their mouths wide open. Candace and William also stared dumbfoundedly at the new rank. No. 82 Luo Feng, 570,403. From 98 to 82, this jump is way too ridiculous. In an instant, the nearly 100 students gathered there all went into an uproar. This jump was way too fast. Cheating. It's definitely a wagered battle. Luo Feng wagered his points with someone else. Someone purposely wagered his points to Luo Feng. A student immediately yelled, cheating? Some students couldn't believe that Luo Feng's rank would still rise so ridiculously without going to the wilderness. It's not cheating, Luo Feng is in the training room right now. A sentence in English rang. He's in the training room, we watched him go in, a few white and black youths said as they walked over from the direction of the 9 grand floors. A few white and black youths walked over from the direction of the 9-story building. Immediately, the noisy group of genius students quietened down. Actually, there were only a few people who shouted cheating. Among the 180 geniuses, there were still a few students who were very jealous. Luo Feng entered the training room at 10:20 p.m. After I finished, it was his turn, said a black girl. Rebecca, Luo Feng was after you? A white youth walked over. Yes, the black girl nodded. So Luo Feng was in the training room. Looks like his Tower of Trials level is rising, so his rank also jumped. The students all started to look forward to it. Many of the students were looking forward to it. After all, there had been 5 geniuses who had rushed into the top 100 as soon as they arrived in the training camp. However, the earliest was 20 years ago and the latest was 8 years ago. Something like this hasn't happened in the elite training camp for a long time. And this time it looks like Luo Feng is going to create a miracle. Luo Feng is ranked last on the Black Dragon ranking in March, so he only has 1 hour in the training room, laughed a yellow-skinned middle-aged man. It's almost 11:20 p.m. At that time, no matter what, he'll definitely be kicked out of the virtual space. Students, watch for the ranking to refresh at 11:20 p.m. It's already 11:18 p.m., 19 p.m., 20 p.m. Candace and William, the 2 blonde youths, stared at the ranking. It can't rise anymore, repeated Candace in his heart. Whoosh. At 11:20 p.m., the ranking refreshed again. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.